one. Are you seeing double? Is it the trauma in your life that makes you see two beautiful blonde? What? They're not blonde anymore. It's the therapy twin.
Oh my good. Hi there. Hello. Hi. Thank you so much.
So I asked my friend Barry, I'm like, Barry, I just can't find funny women. Where are they? And he's like, you need to talk to the therapy twins. And I'm like, how did they get LinkedIn not to shut them down with a creative name like that? And here you are.
We were shut down a couple of times.
Yeah. Joan gets us shut down once in a while.
They accused us of being a computer, I think. Something like that. And I'm thinking, wow, we can't even get Jane's resume up.
Right.
That's all. Jane isn't even on there for some reason. But anyway.
Okay. So LinkedIn shuts you down. You're like, okay, we'll use our real names. And then you
I know.
Yeah. I got shut down 2 weeks ago because I changed my last name. It was Breitenfeld. And I was like, okay, only the Germans can hire me. And everyone else feels horrified when they have to try and pronounce that. So I changed it to a good British name, Brightfield. And they shut me down.
Oh.
And then I sent them my passport. And when they let me back on, I changed it back. I'm sorry if you're listening, LinkedIn. So twins love making people laugh at themselves, at the traumas, at the ups and downs of life. Is this like something you've always had, or did it come out recently when you just had too many ups and downs in life and you just decided to pick it all and laugh?
Yeah, you know, we were just talking about something like this morning that
Really?
I can't say what our sister Lori called us, but what I can say,
she denies it anyway,
is that we kind of grew up with you're supposed to like look good. It doesn't matter if you feel good and that kind of stuff. So we were kind of stared at and not laughed at all the time, but a little bit. So I feel like you can't beat them, join them. Yeah. So we really, my goal is often get people laughing at us.
Yeah.
So that, or at me, so that then they feel comfortable to open up about something that they did or thought.
And
because she's the funny one.
And I suffered a brain injury when I was an infant. No, I didn't. I was born with a brain tumor.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't operate on until 6 months. And the only thing from that was, you know, some tics, seizures, but some tics that were lasting, and also name recognition. Every so often I have said I'm Jane when I'm Joan, clearly, or I could easily call you Jasper. Well, not really. You're a female, but I could have called you something other than Jessica, but close. And then eventually I get it. But my humor came from, I believe, being made fun of or not. I don't know. I don't do it on purpose. When people start laughing, I'm thinking, that's funny. You know, I like that. That's okay.
So because you forget your own name, you decided just to go with therapy twins. Then you really don't even have to think about your name.
Right.
And then it got funny because, you know, I would be in therapy with somebody and I'm childless. And I used to have 6 cats. And the female had some questions about being a new parent, and she happened to be blind. And then she realized, wow, Joan, can you just get Jane in here? And it started, I think, from there. You know, Jane had children, you know, whatever she had and the knowledge she had. It was excellent. My clients loved it.
No, it was, some of it was the experience I had too, though, instead of the knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they say you guys share as twins something that us single children never can do, that connection, that intuition, that feeling how another, that deep level of empathy and connection to another human being that we just dream of. So if you did therapy together, it's like do you charge twice as much? Or are you guys like
too bad? We should have, but the insurance companies always just gave one. Yep. Yeah, that was really too bad. That was the downfall, because a few people wanted my opinion for, I have no idea why, but they would want my opinion periodically. So I would venture into her office as well. And then we would just order at a restaurant, and the kid last a week. And I thought, am I saying something funny? Like, is Jane telling you a joke or something? Because he laughed nonstop. So sometimes our mannerisms
Yeah.
match, or we finish each other's
Yes.
sentences.
Wow. You don't live together though, do you?
Well,
We do
unfortunately,
right
right
now.
now.
Well, here's something I can share is that Lori said we didn't plan for retirement, and
So-
we sort of planned, but
not enough.
not enough. So we're
Yeah.
together.
So kids today, you really got to save
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
It's really too bad because otherwise you're this.
yeah, because we do best.
Oh,
We really do best if we're Ethel and Lucy upstairs, downstairs, or next door
Yeah.
neighbors. Living together, it brings out the worst in you.
especially because our traumas are so different, and we found out from clients that Jane has a more solitary confinement of neglect type of trauma, and Joan happens to have the half
assault.
your life in prison and that vicious
Yeah.
snake type trauma. So I did very well with men, and in couples we did very well.
Mm.
Jane aligned with the female and I aligned with the man. No one felt left out.
No, I like the female energy in the room. It wasn't necessarily a woman.
Hmm.
Huh, she is so politically correct.
Not always, but on that one, I would like to say. Well, because I used to have trouble with men, whatever. So God gave me a male cat and a son. Aren't I? I'm so lucky. But no cats here, not allowed.
Thank God. I know it.
No, she has enough.
I've had enough.
Oh, you don't have 6. You don't have them anymore.
No.
No,
they
they were feral and they were naturally indoor, outdoor, except one. She was so smart. She said, I've had enough of it out there.
Yes.
She stayed in Calico. She ruled. And they all die about 15 years, maybe a little bit more.
Oh, but one of them who came from a parking lot in New Haven, Connecticut, he lasted 20 years.
He did.
Yeah.
All right, rare.
Yeah.
Street smarts. So I was fascinated because I'm a volunteer hospital clown.
Mm-hmm.
So I could appreciate laughing at yourself and having people laugh at you to alleviate their pain. And I think, I want to give us a high five. Because,
absolutely.
Hey, we could do it to each other.
Duh. Okay, sorry.
oh, you lucky twins. I do that all the time in clowning. I'm like, anyone, and everyone just looks at me in horror because who wants to give high five to like the really weird, like German 6 foot tall. I live in Spain. I'm a giant here, right? And I'm like, I'm like a mix between Steve Urkel and like Blossom, but in the body of my German uncles. So it's like, and I once tried to buy clown shoes off of like Kijiji and they didn't come in my size. I was like, I can't even be normal as a clown, right? So this trauma of never fitting in, this trauma of being laughed at as a young girl made me want to face it. And so facing it is humor. Don't take yourself so seriously. Yeah, you are a loser. Yeah, you are big. You are big and you are wonderful and you are delightful and you have a big heart and you have spinach in your teeth and you are everything. And life gives you everything. And if you don't accept all of it, you become neurotic, right? It's pretty mathematically easy.
Because I think that people are afraid to make mistakes. Somehow we've had a nation of, wow, I can't make a mistake. How do you learn if you don't? So not everyone is wise. Oh, that's the other thing. I don't think we listen to the elderly as much now that we're categorized as such. I think they cast you aside a little bit. There's knowledge in there, I was a child once. I could give a little bit of advice, but boy, you haven't had a child and the parents. I've learned just, give advice. Everyone has the most lovely child, as Jane has empathy for all of that.
If you're watching, nephew. Yeah. So in a session with you, or when you go on stages, let's say, because I like both sides, but because this is a talk show kind of about how we talk with humor. So I have a pet peeve. Well, I have a hatred of people who show themselves as perfect. And it reminds me of being a kid and being jealous of that perfect girl that I knew I'd never be like. And I don't think that went away as we got older, right? It just got worse probably. I don't know exactly what happens, but when you project yourself as like this shiny, like motivational speaker What? These, they're real, just like my perfect life. It's like,
Right.
and it ruins other people's lives. It's like, it is not good for anyone to pretend that they don't have trauma and they don't have tics and they don't fart. We all know you fart, you people with all those tacos in America, like, come on. So what if we all make a commitment to like being real? Like, what would happen to the world, twins, if people were like, I'm real?
Right. I mean, I think we'd all just get along. I mean, I
No,
know
to be what?
to be real.
Which was the question, real or unreal?
Oh, real. Hey, it can be either one, Joan. You heard unreal. I just think, you know what? Everyone is too perfect. You make one little mistake, and I don't know if it's religion or community or what that causes us to feel shame or guilt, you know, instead of, look what I just did. Anyone can help. Oh, yeah, that's great. Just don't do it again, or try not to do it again, because I'm probably going to do it 17 more times before I learn.
I had a thought. Wow.
It was unreal.
Yeah. Oh, well. It wasn't funny. Actually, I don't think it was
good.
funny.
Good. We don't want to hear any serious stuff. So when some people say that's not to be laughed at, ladies, like I'm sure you've had some uptight people being like, cancer is nothing to laugh at. Divorce is nothing to laugh at. An obese child who has no friends is nothing to laugh at. You're like, how do you respond to people that are really serious?
Well, what is his name? Anthony Jeselnik. He's a comedian, very dark comedian. What he said was, I know rape isn't funny. I've been sexually assaulted. I know it's not funny. It's not funny at all. And it gives an ugly group of symptoms later. But there is going to be a time when something about either getting to that point or your resilience later, it's going to be actually hilarious. So I just want to say, I'll do one thing. A client of mine said to me, because you get to say things every so often, and she was really struggling with getting her breasts done. Was she getting her breasts done?
Yeah.
She wanted bigger breasts. And at one point, maybe a week or two later of hearing it, I said, I had my breasts done. And she said, reduction. And I was like, no, bitch, not. I just had no breast tissue when I was born. So there's a way to get humor in there. And I'll just tell you, the sexual assault, it was a group and there were women and no one was going to talk, and they've all been sexually assaulted. And so finally, after like a long time, I don't know, 10 minutes of nobody was talking to me, they were all just talking amongst themselves, and half of them had been in prison. The other ones were on probation. So finally I said, hey, did any of you let the motherfucker in? I can't believe I just swore. I am so sorry. And that made them laugh so hard, because that's how stupid I felt. After you've been assaulted, you feel so ignorant, because how did you get yourself in that position? Well, that's what we're taught. It's our fault. So it's just an awful thing to live with. But that broke the ice. I wasn't meaning it for it to be hilarious. But anyway, it was it was good.
And it's not like Joan didn't have, years of talking about the horrors of it,
vomiting over everybody.
And then her cleaning skills that went
I see it.
through the roof, right? But anyway, life is a balance. So I was the depressed twin, and oh God, I mean, all this negative stuff was happening. And at one point, I'm at a bar with our older sister, Lori, and I'm whining to the bartender because apparently my therapist wasn't good enough for me. And every other person I knew, whining about my life. And he says to me, I don't even remember what I said. And the bartender leans in and says, you know what? Your life is worse than a country music song. And those were the words apparently I needed to hear before I could say, you know what, I'm sick of my own voice now. I'm sick of me. So, you can go ad nauseum on the grief and the, we have to. Life is a balance. You got to do a little good and a bad. I don't know why. No, that's where we all get our turn to learn. So I think that at some point, if you can't laugh at something, and no, Joan's not going to laugh at what happened, but she can certainly laugh at, she let him in. He knocked and she let him in. I can laugh at how many times I was blamed for a vehicle breaking down in another state that I wasn't even living in. I was blamed for. I mean, it's hilarious.
It could have been your fault.
You know, that's part of like maybe it. What you see? How funny there. I just
Yeah.
disappeared. But anyway, so you know, when you're sick of yourself, I think humor is a wonderful place.
But I read that you can't feel physical or emotional pain as you are laughing.
Right.
So Jane actually had a client that I thought was a hero.
It was brilliant.
He couldn't even laugh. Like, it was so fake. It was a joke. Like, he was laughing, ha ha.
Yeah.
And he was practicing. But my God, you're going to practice to laugh? That, to me, and he got better.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 80s, I can't say enough. We were psychiatric nurses as well back in the 80s. And we had recreational therapists, art, music.
Oh, all the stuff
dance.
that works.
The
You know,
ones
the
that
helpful stuff.
the ones that get let go when, you know, there's a budget and it's going to be top heavy.
Pet
So
therapy.
all of those therapists that, including if a nurse wasn't busy, you got to go outside and make people feel safe again through normal experiences. And that is how people got better.
Yeah.
Laughing disarmed them. They were
Yes.
able to order again.
Yes.
You know, there's a veteran doing
Yes.
that.
He
Yes.
is. He takes all the
And
veterans
it's working.
where that therapy and meds works a little bit, and he takes them out and does normal everyday things, and they feel safe.
Yep.
And laughter, if laughter is not part of the human experience, I mean, I don't know what is. Joni Mitchell said it, laughing and crying, it's the same release. Thank you. And I choose laughter having years of depression with crying things.
Beautiful. Choose. Keyword, no?
Yes.
Oh, at this point, oh yes, I had to choose it because it did not come easy. You know, living with my sister, you know, we started fighting. We would go to our separate bedrooms, and I'm depressed and mad at
And meditating.
right, and I'm trying to meditate. And, you know, and what I hear from afar is laughter. It's coming from the bedroom. I had to choose it. Thank you.
You know, they talked about, you know, laughter yoga. So I guess you might have done that with the patients. But for those of you who are listening, it's like when he started that under a tree in Mumbai, this doctor, he noticed after a week, he got very popular, but then they started making fun of people. And most humor is targeted at other people, other groups, other colors, anyone that's not you, because they're like that. And it's funny because you laugh at their expense. And he said, no more laughing at other people's expenses. Tomorrow when you come back, we're going to laugh for no reason. And so his wife was a yoga teacher and he was an amateur artist, actor. And so he created laughing like in acting things. And it's like this choice to make the sound that comes out of you. And at that moment, you can't focus on anything else. Like, and there's one that is like boo hoo hoo. So you're like, like when you're you cannot laugh, you cannot smile. And when you're like this, you can't cry. It like physically, Tony Robbins would love that exercise, right?
Yes, right. That's
It is
right.
complete opposites. And if you as a twin are allowed, like today's your day to cry and today's my day to cry, but we can only do it for 2 hours every, you know, like we have to put limits on cookies and wine. We have to put limits on how long we pout on the fucking sofa with the wine and the cookies. It's just
right.
Right?
Unfortunately, a neurologist just said that if you keep a thought for 17 seconds in a row, that you're ingraining that. So I try very hard to do because don't get me wrong, you know, that back office,
17
you have to
seconds
complain.
is a long time though.
Oh, good. So it's a long time enough to say negative stuff. Because sometimes, you know, if you walk by a mirror, I remember my mother saying the older you get, all of a sudden you walk by the mirror and go, oh my God, who's that? And you just start looking a little bit different, but your thoughts aren't. It's just, boy, this is interesting, God. Wow. This is really interesting. Yeah.
So the theory, okay, I'm looking to you kind of for this advice on when I was getting into professional speaking, very insecure, didn't know if I had the talent, thought all the men were better than me, blah, blah, blah. It took years for me to be like, oh, I'm just as good as these guys are. Okay, now I'm at that point. But during that process, people told me, you do a lot of self-deprecating humor. That's going to lower your self-esteem. And I was like, oh, but self-deprecating humor is the way to connect with an audience, to be relatable, to be likable, to da da da. But if you already are a little bit insecure and you self-deprecate on that,
Yes.
what do you think about what to joke about?
Well, you know what? Go ahead, Joan.
No, I didn't have a thought.
Because I was thinking. So
Thank God.
thank God one of us thinks once in a while, right? Because sometimes it's
Your
so
day.
hard. We went outside yesterday. The bread was in the oven. Thank God
Oh.
John knew to come in because we would have had burnt bread. Thank you.
Could you get whatever?
But anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about. So.
Self-deprecate.
So let me just back up. So like back in the Western psychiatry, which I don't agree with all of it, but one of the rules, I think Joan touched on it, is sometimes you can say something about yourself if you're not in that country Western song, you know,
Movie, right.
in the movie
Right.
or song at that moment,
Okay.
and you've healed a bit. So like I can laugh now at I never connected why I wouldn't go to my graduations after high school. I had a college and then a master's. I wouldn't go, and then I had this memory of my high school graduation. As you walked up the steps, I'm that girl that the gown got caught and it was choking me, and I went down because I already know my life lesson. Even though I felt ugly, depressed, etc., I had an ego that was bigger than Harry Belafonte's, apparently.
Really?
Oh yeah,
She's the older twin.
I had to be humbled, and anyway, so yeah, I was that person. I stepped on the gown.
2 minutes on this planet longer. Talk about wisdom. My goodness, it comes out of her.
Wait, but we come from
every day.
We do come from a long line of like brilliant ancestors.
No, we don't.
Oh my
God.
God.
How cool bragging are you doing today?
I'm not the brilliant one. Our Nani was brilliant. Thank
goodness.
you.
It's like your grandma or something? Noani?
She called the wedding dress. This is
Brilliant.
She called the wedding dress the dress of tears. Everybody thought the first year of marriage was the best. It was the worst year of my life. So, you know, not all the time does it work out the way you wanted it. But then whatever you do, you make something out of it, and you said it.
Oh, you said it. Not lemonade, the
martini.
Lemon drop martini.
I think that's what you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, I have a favorite poet because he's probably the only one I heard somebody mention once. And anyway, his name is Rumi.
Oh, I like
And right at the right time when I did fail miserably, I read the first line. I'm not going to read the whole poem, please, but the first line was, in life, ruin your reputation. Because that
otherwise you're not
apparently
free.
living, and you lived free, and it doesn't matter what people say behind your back or to your face, because it was meant for behind your back and should have been there.
You know, we came out with our mental illness because Vivek Murthy said that until the professionals come out, because statistically there has to be somebody in the profession of psychiatry that has mental illness, but
we're no longer professionals.
Nobody wants to come out. And you know, I thought, wow, he has a good point. You know, sports figures and actors, they have a cushion. And unless you have a cushion, you may lose your job for all kinds of reasons. Anyway, it's freeing because, like Jane said, once you're not in it, not that you're giving advice, but by sharing something that you've done or been humbled by, really does help other people. It really does. Back in the 80s, human touch was the one thing we were supposed to do.
Yes.
Inpatient, human touch.
Right.
And then somebody, you know, gloves
went on.
And people who assault ruined it for everybody because they touched inappropriately or whatever their fantasy was. You ruined it because human touch heals. Anyway, thank you.
But yet laughter heals too. Laughter, there was I thought Joan was going to say that about the neurologist, that when you're laughing, when kids are laughing on a playground, whatever they learned, that cemented so much more easily in our brains than sitting with a boring lecture. Thank you.
Yes.
Especially from my mother, or, you know, my mother or my father, right?
Yeah, right.
Or Mrs. Bacillus.
Oh, Jane,
I'm joking. Joan, it could have been a Mrs. Smith.
Yes, could have been.
You've moved up from your coffee cup, I notice.
Yeah, you gotta hydrate.
Okay.
Your skin gets crazy
Joan's-
when you get older.
Joan's hydrating in a wine glass. I think she noticed.
Oh, is that what you noticed? It is a goblet.
20 minutes ago, you had
How
coffee
else you
cups.
get your water?
You know,
If
we
you
only
stay-
have the one left. There were 3 others, and they all
broke them.
I just
Wow.
wondering, if
I
we
don't
stay 20
think I
more
could-
minutes, what will happen?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. So you guys are obviously the lives of the party. I've never been able to say that before. And
Joan is.
Joan is not you.
Joan.
No, it's a together thing. It
Is
is.
the other thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes she's so boring. I don't know how it makes laughing, but it
Right.
does.
Because no one has ever really accused me of being
Ever.
funny.
Oh,
In fact,
no?
my son, remember I told you God gave me a male cat and a son.
Yeah.
My son said to me one day, I did ask, I have always asked him for a little feedback, but one time it was like a Gatling gun, and I said, please hold off. But what he said to me was, you can't take a joke.
Oh.
And, you know, I had so many thoughts. I really, I knew I had asked for feedback, and that is why whatever was, I mean, the things I could have said and wanted to say, and I didn't, because I'm
Oh
trying
my
to
God.
break a pattern of this
Wow.
negative thing. So anyway, that was the day I sort of thought, oh God, I don't know how to do this. I was the calm twin. I don't know how you go from calm to the other side. And Joan already had that label of funny, so it was difficult.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Being the sister of the funny one.
Hmm.
Huh? A lot of pressure.
What did she say?
Sister's the funny one.
Oh.
Joan's
You
like
know,
Bill Burr,
I'm sorry.
actually. She's
You know,
Joan is the female Bill Burr.
Sometimes Jane comes out
she's
with something that
refrained right now.
I am
Refrained.
shocked because it's like, wow, I have never heard that, and it was really funny. At least 2 times.
At least
two
2
times.
times.
They were good ones.
They were good ones. And
One is no longer politically correct, and I don't recall the other one. So oopsie. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I don't even know what
Because
I
I
said.
would have bragged about her, but you can't.
Oh, my son calls me out on the things
Thank
that I'm
goodness.
comfortable saying in front of him. And then he tells me what's the political correctness, because I am older now. Hello.
You guys are funny. My whatever bone this is called. It's the funny bone today. Who the hell named this? Some very serious doctor called this the funny bone and not
Yeah,
this,
really.
right?
Right. And the other thing, you get fewer wrinkles if you laugh.
Yep.
It's
We found that out.
counterintuitive, but it's true with how you're using your muscles. The other thing is I don't know if anyone else has this inner core tightness from years of trauma, I guess, but laughter will tighten it, but then loosen it the way you're supposed to lie on your bed and do all those progressive relaxation things that are so boring, along with the self-help book and the meditation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I swear that clown healed me because I was like, meditate. I did like so much meditation and all I could think about was sex and bread.
Yeah.
Like, literally 1,000 hours of sex and bread. I've never had sex with bread. Okay, new idea, bucket list. But
I know it's possible.
But I've seen Apple Pie, whatever that movie was called, right?
Yes.
American Pie.
Mhm.
And then I was like, clown. Oh my God, you fail. Have you guys ever tried clown?
Well, what happened was our mother was a twin too. And when we were young, she dressed us as clowns.
Oh.
And, be careful what you can visualize because now that we're 64, things are coming back from, I thought, oh, I was obsessed with that thought. It's like, oh, that's here. I see that now. So what I practiced for 14 years, you don't ever do that. Put a comedian on or any clown, laugh while you are thinking, or put a tape on that has positive subliminal messages. Because otherwise, I mean, negative, hello. We all go so negative. We don't even know because we practice sometimes. You're appalled at how many times the other person says, excuse me, what did you just say? And they're degrading more than 17 seconds.
Back with boring cognitive behavioral therapy, they said once you recognize that one negative thought, you probably had thought it hundreds of times already. So it's just so difficult. But what Joan said, and like I said, I've done it all. dialectical
They
behavioral
need more.
therapy. I mean, look, I love all of it, but it's only 50%. The rest is get out and live. You have to live, and part of living is laughter.
Oh, wonderful.
Our
Yeah.
dad was full of laughs.
He was?
Neither of us.
Oh, I don't know where they went. Did I put them off? No, I did nothing. Well, if you're watching, I don't know if they'll come back. Therapy twins. Wasn't that delightful? You have to choose it. You have to go into the world and choose to laugh, because if not, you'll sit on your freaking sofa crying. I have a note on beside my sofa that says, stop pouting, stop crying, and stop eating those cookies. Anyone else guilty of comfort eating? Well, maybe we'll finish that up. If you see below me here, not that way, wait, that way. There. We have a conference coming up, and it is Luisa Montalvo, the world champion of public speaking, E.E. King, who is a hilarious coach. She actually coached Margaret Cho to be funnier on stage, and you have me and you, and the rest of you who might be coming to the conference. It's not a conference, it's a retreat, because it's 5 days with a bunch of sisters from different mistas who are building a community around the world, and we're starting in Barcelona with the unapologetic movement. So if you're one of the sisters I'm looking for, I am looking for 2 twin sisters. They're gone. Hello? Hello? No? Oh, wait. I think they're still there.
Oh, look, there we are. We appeared again. Oh, but
We did. That was a magic trick. No, I can hear you.
Sound, huh? What's that?
What's that? Can you hear me? Hi.
Oh.
Aren't they cute? They can't hear me, but when they watch this later, oh, they're gone. Their devices are not connected. Okay, that's it. Connect your device, Therapy Twins. Wouldn't it be amazing to get those women on stage to talk to you about life? Oh my God, I wish I was in America. See you later. Thanks for watching How to Be You Broadcasting Network.